Bermane Stiverne defeats Chris Arreola with a well-deserved unanimous decision over 12 rounds. Now, I expected this fight to be competitive, but I did not expect to see Bermane Stiverne boxing on the back foot, popping a jab and moving around the ring for 12 rounds. That caught me off guard, and I think it caught Arreola off guard as well. You know, early in the fight, Arreola was having a little bit of success coming forward and whatnot. But Bermane Stiverne, with his longer reach, was able to establish distance with his jab. He was able to get Arreola's respect with his power and, you know, pop off combinations with his quicker hands. Now, Stiverne had the longer reach than Arreola. Even though he was shorter, he had the longer arms. And, you know, a lot of people assume that just because a fighter is taller, that he must have the longer reach, but it's not always the case. A lot of times, especially with black fighters, a lot of black people tend to have long arms in proportion to their height compared to other races, which tend to have shorter arms in proportion to their height. And Stiverne's an example of that. You know, he's got very long arms, or pretty long arms for his height. I think he's only around 6'1", 6'2", but he's got an 80-inch reach. All right, so that's only 1 inch shorter than Vladimir Klitschko, even though he's like 4 or 5 inches shorter than Vladimir Klitschko in height. So Stiverne used his long reach to keep Arreola at bay. He dropped Arreola, I think, in the 3rd or 4th round. Towards the end of the 3rd or 4th round, he dropped Arreola with a good right hand. It was a tremendous shot. And bust Arreola's nose. Arreola's nose was bleeding profusely from that moment on. But, you know, Chris kept coming. Stiverne was boxing on the back foot, like I said, moving around the ring, jabbing, hitting Arreola to the body, setting up combinations. And, you know, he pretty much just outboxed Arreola for 12 rounds. He definitely caught me off guard with those tactics. I expected him to come forward. I expected these guys to go toe-to-toe. But it didn't happen like that. Stiverne, I don't know, maybe he did the smart thing. I don't know. I'm in two minds as to whether Stiverne used the right tactics or not. I mean, at the end of the day, they were the right tactics because it won him the fight. But I wonder if he would have come forward, whether he could have stopped Arreola. All right, I wonder if he could have stopped him, especially maybe if he come forward around the 7th or 8th round, he may have been able to stop Arreola, because the only time that Stiverne really came forward to any great extent was in the 12th round. In the 12th and final round, he had Arreola backpedaling and looking like, you know, if Stiverne had the energy, he might have been able to stop Chris Arreola in that 12th round. If he had the energy just to put the punches together, to me, Arreola looked very close to being stopped. So, you know, I was, in the back of my head, I was thinking, you know, if Stiverne had stepped on the gas earlier in the fight, he might have been able to get Chris out of there and saved himself going the 12-round distance. But then again, maybe he needs the rounds. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe he needs the rounds. He don't often box like that on the back foot. This is the first time I've seen him boxing on the back foot like that. So, you know, it was a good experience, I guess. So, yeah, you know, Stiverne is a heavy-handed guy. I've obviously been following a few of his fights for a while now. He's very heavy-handed. He can punch. He's got quick hands. But with a lot of heavyweights these days, you know, the same as a lot of heavyweights these days, Stiverne lacks conditioning. Now, he went 12 rounds at a pretty decent pace, but if it wasn't for his punching power, I think he would have had a lot rougher night, because his punching power, especially after that 4th round, kept Arreola honest and kept him off. Arreola wasn't just going to swarm all over him like Derek Chisora was swarming on Vitali Klitschko. That wasn't going to happen. Right? Arreola was kind of intimidated by Stiverne's power. And Stiverne, a lot of the time, looked winded himself. His hands were dropping down. But as I said, because Arreola, you know, didn't have as longer reach as Stiverne, didn't have as quicker hands, he wasn't able to take advantage of the fact that Stiverne had his hands down a lot of the time. Stiverne looked winded a lot of the time. You know, Arreola wasn't able to take advantage. But a taller fighter, Vitali Klitschko, or Vladimir Klitschko, definitely will be able to take advantage of Stiverne when he's winded like that. So, you know, it was a good win for Stiverne, but I just wish he would get himself in better condition. I mean, he was obviously in decent condition in terms of his cardiovascular to be able to go 12 rounds at that pace, but he's too heavy. He's too heavy. He's carrying around too much weight, and I think he'd be a lot more effective if he dropped 15 pounds. If you ever watched Stiverne as an amateur, he was a lot lighter in the amateurs, and he was a lot faster on his feet, a lot lighter on his feet. Nowadays, he plods around the ring. You know, even though he was boxing on his back foot, he still don't have great foot speed at all. Yeah, he was plodding around, and I think he weighed 247 pounds. I'd like to see him in the 230s. You know, I'd really like to see him in the 230s. I doubt it will happen. You know, these heavyweights hardly ever get in shape. If a guy's been out of shape his whole career, they pretty much never get in shape. You know, they'll pretty much never do it. Just like Odlinair Solis. You know, he's been out of shape his whole career, and that's the way it's going to stay. And like I say, I use the word out of shape in the sense that they're carrying too much weight. Yeah, the shape is carrying fat. I know in terms of cardiovascular, they're probably in better shape than the average human being, but, you know, they're lumping too much weight around. People like Stiverne is definitely carrying too much fat around. It slows him down, and, you know, you don't need it. But, yeah, from here, Stiverne may get a title shot against Vitali Klitschko if Klitschko don't retire. This was apparently was it a final eliminator? I don't know what it was. There's so many eliminators going on. I'm not sure, you know, what it is, but I think it was a final eliminator to fight Vitali Klitschko. And Stiverne called out Klitschko after the fight. He called out Vitali. He said, "Don't retire. Fight me before you retire." You know, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to get excited about Stiverne unless he loses some weight. I think if he lost some weight and got down to maybe 230, around that weight, the kind of weight he was in the amateurs, 230, 235, I'd be a lot more, you know, pumped up for him fighting Vitali Klitschko, because Stiverne does have ability. He is an explosive puncher. He's very heavy-handed, and he showed some versatility in this fight. But carrying all that weight around, man, nah, it don't convince me. You understand? So anyway, if you saw the fight, let me know how you feel about it. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Where do you think Stiverne should go from here? Who would you like to see him in the ring with next? Tyson Fury? I mean, if you don't get a fight with Vitali, would he fight Tyson Fury for the vacant belt maybe? You know, who knows? But yeah, leave your comments in the comment section below. This is Hatman, I'm out.